You're hazy on the notion of a scab. Smells like politics, though. Maybe it's got something to do with the flask he reaches for from time to time.
What exactly is a scab?
A kind of a worm, content with mere survival. They come, they want to do our job for shittier pay, screwing over both themselves and us. Everybody loses.
Hold on, where do they all come from?
Beats me. Somewhere in the ground, I think.
You don't seem to like them much.
Gotta be bloody stupid or freaking evil to scab. Or I guess scared, maybe. But scared of what? Of who?
He looks at the mass, squinting his eyes as if trying to ascertain what they're scared of.
Personally, I'd rather beg than scab. If the gentleman shouting on the street came begging, maybe they'd have gotten something.
Have you tried talking to them?
We've explained the matters, but they don't listen. This lot would be reasonable and go home if the big guy wasn't riling them up all the time.
I'm not a scab, I'm a cop.
I was just messing with you. No one's ever seen a cop scab. Imagine, you cops going on a strike, but then another cop comes in and says, "Let us cop for less money." Speaking of, what brings the RCM here? To the wild north? Come to see the strife?
Hey, you're the man in the boots at the gates. Kuno said you'd know about the armor.
The little boy had the good on his promise.
His promise.
To get me into trouble. To sick the pigs on me, pardon the choice of words, not mine.
What happened?
I was asked to look into that armor situation. Official union probe, you know. Track it down, see who took it.
Did you?
At first I thought, why not? Maybe the pieces can feed the strike. Buy us a few more days under the sun, you know? So I went to this boy. He said he'll make me his prison bitch. He's got eyes everywhere, the cops in his pocket, and he's the king of Jamrock. Serves me right for doing menial footwork. I dropped that probe right then and there, and it still got me into trouble. One bad move is all it takes.
The probe into the armor, what did you learn?
I learned that people don't want to talk to a drunk union man about some armor.
What else?
Not much. Technical stuff mostly. That was the interesting part.
What sort of technical stuff?
I did some research into this armadura. Let's say I have friends at the library. I didn't get into the material science, just how it comes off.
How does it come off?
In parts. 4 in total. The helmet was the first to go. The kid says he tore it off and kicked it into the sea. I believe him. The boots were still on the guy last I saw. Too hard to remove. So, as I count, there are 2 parts missing. The gauntlets and the cuirass. This is where I left off. Too much hassle. More like a job for some militia.
Hold on. 4 pieces? Helmet, cuirass, gauntlets, boots. What about leggings?
Oh, they're just gone. They don't exist anymore, if they ever did at all. Forget about them. I did.
I'm ambitious. I'm going to find all of it. All the pieces.
All of it? There are junior officers out there, eager to prove themselves. I would leave some for them, and I would leave the boots to processing, but okay. Let's find all of it. It's implied he finds it unlikely that you will succeed in this.
A mesquite epic then, all across Martinez. I hope it will be a real bonanza for you.
Thank you for the cooperation, sir.
No problem. If you see that kid, thank him from Call Me Mañana. Thank him for showing me the way.
He is sincerely grateful he is not tracking down pieces of armor right now.
I need to get past the gates and speak with your boss.
Oh, good, good. What matters do you want to discuss with Everard?
I can't disclose any details of an ongoing case.
So mysterious, so intriguing. Either way, the road in front of you is wide and open.
Does that mean you can let me through the gate?
I don't operate in that capacity. I'm not a granter of passage. The passage grants itself.
If it's all so simple, why don't the strikebreakers just go up the stairs?
That's simple. I just walk in,
Aye. Walk right past Measurehead and go in.
past Measurehead.
Yeah, the 2.5 meter tall Semini supremacist there. Walk right past him,
Right.
then press the button to unlock the door,
Aha.
then go past him again,
Okay.
and you enter the arbor through the office. Está.
So you're saying it's actually quite difficult.
Don't worry, I'm sure it's not completely impossible. For example, you could best measure head in a physical confrontation, or you could convert to a Semini supremacist worldview. Or, maybe it actually is completely impossible.
Has anyone here ever bested him in a physical confrontation?
Not yet, no. He's incredibly strong.
And have any of the scabs tried converting to his worldview?
Jean-Luc himself would say the philosophy has proven overly heroic for the scabs to convert to. Not enough intuition.
Got it. Another thing.
Sure.
I'm a bit short on money right now. Can you give me some of it?
Sure thing, my friend. I can help you out.
He flips a coin.
The coin lands into your hand as if it has always belonged there. The swallow returns.
Appreciate it.
Always glad to help out the RCM. Shame I can't do more. Things are meager at the moment due to... You know, the winter's fat is slowly running out and all. Still better than scabbing though.
The Union has problems getting by.
Nothing to worry about really. The jam's a bit of a mess, cargo can't get in or out. The rationing is a bit stricter is all. Supplies should last the strike though.
Gotta spend money to make money.
Aye, you lost me there, Honcho. But it's okay as long as you're not a sorry-ass scab.
What's the strike about anyway?
You know, serious business. I'm sure the big boss will be glad to tell you. You'll have to ask him first.
He's a chatty guy. Wants to talk about the strike. Return once you've met the union boss and are on a better footing with the organization.
Nice talk. Gotta get moving. It says GRIH, the Greater Revachol Industrial Harbor.
Bastards! We have a right to work!
The man yells towards the harbor gates. His voice is the loudest of the lot, and oddly screechy for a man of his size. What's going on here?
Hold up and stay frosty, everyone. Cops are here.
The broad-shouldered alpha male turns to you. He's a full head taller than everybody else here.
You here to fuck with us? Beat the honest worker down.
Why should I?
We're here to fight for a cause. Stripes usually have problems with people who have causes.
Okay, then I'm thinking no.
Good. We're fighting for a cause here. Right to work! Right to work!
Besides, we're not that different. It helps if people see us talking, cops and strikebreakers together. Shows authorities are on our side. Builds confidence.
What kind of a cause are we talking about?
Rights of people. Rights of workers. To have gainful employment. To make a salary. And feed their families.
His manner of speaking is wooden, the tone of voice bland and uninspired, almost as if compiling replies from a set of learned phrases.
I don't think I've chosen a side yet.
Might be time. Don't let the fat bastards tread on you. Cops tend to side with the higher-ups, but you're essentially still workers. I don't trust cops, but I can see you understand the right to work! Right to work!
Regardless, I have some questions for you.
Maybe you should ask them the questions, like why we're not allowed to make a living here.
Shame on you!
We have families to feed, you piece of shit.
He points his finger at the man sitting on the railing.
So do we, Scab.
The loitering man hollers in return. Who are all these strikebreakers?
Honest men and women with rights to work, to be useful, not toys for corporate interests.
The man was a hand through his steadily graying military haircut.
We came here to help the harbor run smoothly in time of crisis. If union fucks don't want work, they ought to let in those who do want work.
I have a question. Why do all these men follow your leadership?
You think they follow because I'm big and loud? No. They follow the rules of the market, the rules of the economy, because they were given a job to do!
What is a strike?
When a bunch of ungrateful, lazy cockroaches can't get their act together, decide to block honest work for other people.
He shifts uncomfortably in his worker's overalls. What do the strikers want?
Beats me. They mumble nonsense about boardrooms and workers' rights, while we have the right to work!
There's something odd in the way he carries himself. His set of clothing looks vaguely mismatched. The different pieces of the attire seem ill-fitting.
Ill-fitting. What does that mean?
His shirt is far too small and an unpleasantly tight fit, while the overalls, held up by a belt, seem to fit a man with much more corpulence.
You wearing new clothes?
He ignores your question, choosing instead to turn to the emaciated workers, raising both fists in the air. The clothes are obviously not his. Silence is the answer. There's something off here, but he won't say what. You've been talking to him for quite a while now. Something is off with this guy. Ask him where he's from.
Okay, I gotta ask, where exactly are you from?
What's it to you?
Deep-set suspicion drips from every syllable. Routine, part of the investigation.
Am I a suspect? Done no crimes. I only fight for the rights of people.
Every once in a while, it's like you can see glimpses of another guy under the guise of this fighter for jobs. He seems a more brutal, cunning, and suspicious person. Just a hunch. Or you just might be paranoid.
I already got that. I'm interested in your background.
We're all workers, right? Workers stick together. Came from the eminent domain, in Jamrock. Backgrounds in odd jobs, heavy lifting, cargo hauling, bouncer work. I know the drill.
A bouncer? Where? I frequent a lot of bars. Maybe it's one I know.
Worked at Territorial. Ring a bell?
Yeah, I think I might have been there.
Uh-huh. It was a long time ago.
The man is quickly losing interest in talking with you. I actually need to speak with the union boss.
Have fun. Union shits are on full strike. Don't think they're going to let you through the gates. Why you want to be that fat asshole?
I'm interviewing people about a murder that took place here, behind the hostel cafeteria there.
I know nothing about a murder.
His reply is snappy and terse.
The mention of a killing sends a barely noticeable shiver of tenseness through him. Interesting.
Absolutely nothing?
Wouldn't put it past these harbor bugs. They'd do anything to stay alive. Right to work! It's shameful. Cops doing nothing. You should bring backup. Open up the gates for us. Blockading gainful employment for workers is a crime.
This really isn't my area of expertise.
We are not picking a side in this just yet, sir. Pity.
Let us work!
What exactly is your goal here?
We were promised work. We'd be in there, working, if the bastards hadn't shut the gates.
And you are unable to breach the entrance?
Main gate's locked. Would take heavy ordnance to bust it open. Could try to get in through the secretary's office. Door's locked. The guard's blocking the way to the access panel. And I don't mean the scrawny mess punk either. I mean head measurer. Or whatever he is.
Wait, head measurer.
Huge Seminese guy standing up there on the overhead passage. Won't let anyone by. The access panel is right behind it.
How bad could one guy be? You seem capable.
Bad. Standing on a narrow bridge, he's got a strategically advantageous position. And he's trained. I don't know how the Union has a trained killer up there. But that one's no joke. And my men are tired and hungry. They're workers, not fighters.
Have you considered storming in, like all of you?
Why don't you go arrest them instead? I'm sure they've done plenty of criminal shit. They have that look.
It would be better for the neighborhood if you went home, at least for now, if you can't get in anyway.
No! They will give up eventually. Or get drunk. Leave the button unguarded. Then we charge.
I'm just going to leave now. The lorries probably stored fuel here. Now they store booze. A foreign car kept in good condition. Another article of clothing, a white tank top. Ruins full of snow. No one lives here anymore.
An old monument stands in the middle of the traffic island, pointing toward the sea. It looks as if it's been reassembled piece by piece, secured and mounted in the air with the aid of numerous ropes and rods.
Who is this?
A silver plaque on the statue's pedestal reads, "I am Philip III, the Squanderer, the greatest of the Philippian kings of Revachol, son of Philip II, the opulent, father of Philip IV, the insane."
What did this king do?
Even by the standards of the Philippian kings, old sumptuous Philip was known for his profligacy.
In what way?
Well, he blew through the whole national treasury, starting the decline of one of the penultimate century's greatest superpowers, the suzerain of Revachol. His own maladministration foreshadowed the fall of the monarchy. During the anti-centennial revolution, an end to his family line and the monarchy on the Insulindian Isola.
How did he manage to blow through the entire national treasury?
Stories have it that he had his bedroom converted into a treasure chamber, where he stored unfathomable wealth. Krugerrands, bars of gold, ornate weaponry, armor, and various chalices. He called it the Sol Aurum. It was obscene. There were whispers he slept on a huge pile of gold-dipped feathers, like some obese dragon, instead of a bed, like a normal person.
The man certainly knew how to live.
I would like to sleep on gold, hustler style.
But wait, you haven't even heard about his fabled cocaine addiction.
The what now?
You see, old Philippe wasn't just good at squandering the national treasury on gold and ceremonial weaponry, he was also a prodigious snorter of nose candy.
Okay, what is nose candy?
Cocaine.
This is a lot to process.
His Majesty's courtiers said it helped him connect with the higher realms.
So he was addicted to nose candy. A bloated druggie?
That's what the revolutionaries said 150 years later, right before they emptied out the royal mausoleum and dumped His Majesty's mortal remains in the Insulindian Bay.
Okay, where is he buried now?
Beneath the cold waters of the Insulindian Bay, thrown there by the revolutionaries after they cleaned out the royal mausoleum.
And what happened to the statue?
The original was blown apart by communards, then further damaged during the landing of the coalition's airships during the turn-of-the-century revolution, when Martinez was leveled. Most historians think the coalition's hasty landing may have ultimately saved the statue. If the communards had more time, they would have reduced it up to even finer pieces.
Who restored the monument?
Some years ago, a group of liberal, artistically inclined individuals, designers mostly, thought it would be ironic to restore the statue of the most wasteful ruler of Revachol in the poorest part of the city. The statue is supposed to capture the moment it was blown apart, like an instant frozen in time, a rare butterfly trapped in amber, floating on a sea of shit.
That's brilliant. So funny and nihilistic.
People in Martinez tend to disagree, as do many prominent art critics and thought leaders, with more nuanced social awareness than the young ironists. Those critics might have it wrong, though. There's more to it than just ironism, but you can't say what precisely. Perhaps this art mystery will be solved at a later time? Philip III, the Squanderer, however, with his bronze face up in the air, doesn't seem concerned about what the hoi polloi think of him in death. Not that he ever did in life either.
A bold slogan, Humanox, covers the truck.
The small, wrinkled woman does not greet you. She nods along to something on her radio. A photograph is clutched in her hands, and there is a warm smile on her face. The photo, an ambrotype from the turn of the century, as golden as her smile. It's the warmth of a winter night's fire. Maybe she could give you comfort and shelter, some cigarettes and food money. Maybe she's your...
Grandma?
Nothing. Her smile just keeps widening. Her hair is gray like lead.
Excuse me, ma'am. I'd like to ask some questions.
No response. Wherever this woman is, your words fail to reach her.
Snap your fingers in front of her face.
Wait,
The lieutenant stops you before you can snap.
she's just a distracted old woman. Better to leave her alone.
But why?
Why? I just told you why.
If you say so.
The tear machine stands in the corner. A sign says, 1 bottle equals 10 cents. Your bottles clunk into the machine, and the money appears with a satisfying jingle. You're a richer man now.
Jump Jams, a popular music mag. A glossy magazine, most able-bodied men. This issue hosts a top 10 list.
Welcome to Revachol.
Announces the rotund man. The remark isn't addressed at you. It's addressed to the lieutenant. Why are you addressing my partner like that?
Don't you welcome to Revachol me. My grandfather came here from a 3,000-year-old racist isolationist culture, while your ancestors came to this island a mere 300 years ago. Every school of thought and government has failed in the city, but I love it nonetheless. It belongs to me as much as it belongs to you.
You tell him.
It's men like you who keep Revachol divided, making it that much harder for everyone to climb out of this post-war limbo.
What he means is, fixation on the Revacholian nation makes it harder for Revachol to actually attain self-determination.
He's right. You're undermining our best shot at real self-determination.
Oh, come on, man. I just said welcome to Revachol. It's a lorry driver thing.
I know exactly what you meant. You think my kind doesn't belong here, that I should watch myself and behave. But you see, I'm an officer of the RCM. It's actually my job to make sure you behave. I would advise you to remember that.
Silence. The air between them becomes tense. Your partner needs backup. Now's your moment to shine.
Fucking A, Kim. I got your back.
You two make a cute couple. You know that?
The lorry man spits.
The lieutenant exhales and resumes his regular calmness.
Now that that's settled, we have a couple of questions.
Whatever you say, officers.
He waits impassively, cigarette smoldering between his fingers.
You could ask him to show you the soles of his boots. He definitely looks like someone capable of a lynching. Maybe he was present.
Let me see the soles of your boots.
Been admiring the stompers, huh? Sure thing. Check them out.
On the bottom of the man's boots, you see an intricate tangle of treads with no immediately discernible pattern.
What's up with your soles?
It's Revachol.
Where did you get boots like that?
Custom made. Cost me a pretty penny.
He rubs the back of his balding head. But why?
For when the invasion comes, the last thing they'll see before the lights go out is illustrious Revachol.
It doesn't look like the lieutenant cares. He just makes a little note.
You do understand you're stomping on Revachol every day, don't you?
No, it's not like that. You don't get it. It's when I kick them, you know? Oh, fuck it, it's too complex for you.
I found this mug in the trash. Yours?
Oh man, that's great. Look at that guy go. Haven't seen anything that funny in a while.
Is it yours?
God damn. Thanks for that, but no, it's not mine.
He doesn't live in Martinez.
What was that argument all about?
It's about biological determinism, natural law, the sorting of the races. Not the most popular topic nowadays, with a coalition in charge and all. You might want to change the topic. That is, bury your head under the sand like common sheep.
To be honest, I can't really remember what that means. So please explain.
People who've studied these things say that you and me are superior by design. So, naturally, we Occidentals should be in charge. Obviously, you can see the merits in that.
Yes, I can really tell you're a prime example of superior design.
Open your eyes. Haven't you noticed something different lately? An unfortunate downturn, maybe? Huh? When members of the superior race cease to believe in their innate superiority, they stop competing for resources.
Okay, and?
This concerns you, policeman, so you better be vigilant. The damn kips are showing up good lately. Same with the mosquitoes. And the other intruder species too. They're on the precipice of cultural victory.
Cultural victory? What is this then?
Wait, what's this cultural victory?
It's what the kips of Boogie Street are going for, right under our noses. And the others too, on the radio. Heard any chansons lately? Heard any motetos or leader? No. Dominating culture is how they plan to win. They say so themselves.
Aha.
It's true. Also, you need to realize the dangers of mixing races. Who knows what might happen if people don't stay in their birthplace? You might end up with a new sub-race, with unknown characteristics, leading to extra competition. That's why you've got to control the offspring.
Yeah, I'm not down with this, so why don't you go fuck yourself?
Don't push your luck, runt.
The man gives you a disgusted look, then turns his attention elsewhere, ignoring your presence.
Does Kuhn okay?
I talked to Manana about the armor.
So?
He raises his eyebrows, projecting aggressive indifference. He said to thank you. He wasn't too keen on chasing down that armor anyway.
Fuck, okay. Kuno's a giver like that, yes?
He looks slightly confused.
Kuno sent your fat ass running around like jello.
Look, pig. Kuno sent you to rough some people up. Kuno played you. That happened. Now you and Kuno should move on.
Whatever, kid.
What is this? Trying to be cool with your new asshole? Kuno was just being nice to you. You got fucked bad. Now limp the fuck out of here. After this shit, you better have something real interesting to say if you want to stay in Kuno's face.
Yeah, real interesting.
I gotta ask, who is Kuno?
Kuno's Kuno, pig?
The boy points to his chest with both thumbs.
It's always Kuno, never I. Clearly the kid's using the third-person perspective as a shield.
Kuno, is that some kind of gang name?
Yeah, Kuno's in a fucking gang. In a bang gang. Kuno bangs for Magie, bangs for Mazda, bangs for Revachol.
He lays the names out there with pride and precision, like cards on a table. Right when he's getting distracted, there's a malevolent hiss behind the fence.
Watch out, Kuno! He's trying to fiddle you! He's gonna put his hands on you!
The thing behind the fence starts squealing, shrill and violent like a fire alarm.
Help! Pig's got Kuno! Help! Rape!
The sound gets louder as the child shouts at the windows overlooking the yard.
Help! He's got the Kuno, help!
Just answer the questions.
Help! He's digging his dick out!
Escalate, Kuno! His dick is out! You're afraid!
Pigs in here, Kuno! Somebody, please!
It's full blast now. The wind carries the message far and wide across Martinez.
How did we get here? How did this happen? This makes no sense. There may still be a way out. Just appeal to his reason.
Are you high right now?
Help! Misters, help!
He prances around, eyes bulging out of their sockets, rolling hard, yelling at the windows.
He's having the time of his life. Total ecstasy. Fuck the pig.
He's flashing Kuno! He's showing his genitals! If you don't help Kuno now, it'll be too late!
Don't punch him, it's a bad idea.
Look.
Kuno whispers as you retreat, vanishingly silent.
For emphasis, a ghost is saying this. A shit-eating psychopathic ghost with an ace up his sleeve.
I know you wanted to hit me. You got that I'm gonna fuck that Kuno up look that Kuno's dad gets. The murder look. The rage look.
Relax. He can't read your mind. He doesn't know you were thinking that.
How do you know that? You can't see inside my head. Can you read my mind, Kuno?
I can. Kuno can smell that violent shit. I know what you were thinking. I'm gonna fuck that Kuno up. I'm gonna shut his shit down. You know what? You should have hit the Kuno, because now you're nothing. You're a joke to Kuno. Kuno laughs at you. King Kuno!
The whole charade was about establishing dominance over you. You backing up means he's succeeded.
Kuno turned you into his prison, bitch! You're gonna be in this shit with Kuno!
No, you're not. We can just leave.
Bitch, you're gonna be in this shit with Kuno forever!
The peepo-headed critter doesn't let him finish.
A peepo is a type of hat, by the way.
Nice peepo.
You don't talk to me about my fucking peeper! You don't know where I come from! You're just Kuno's bottom bitch!
And we'll leave.
An old call box with a matrix of push buttons lists all the companies in the East Delta Commerce Center. East Delta Commerce Center? This must be the name of the doomed commercial area.
Main hall, building A.
An off-key melody starts playing after you ring the doorbell. Then a woman picks up the receiver.
Kuno, please stop calling here. Grown-ups don't have time for your stupid games.
She thinks you're the gremlin child. What would he say to this?
Plaisance, it's me. I'm investigating the doomed commercial area, just like we discussed.
Oh, I'm sorry, officer. I thought you were...
There's a spot of static that overrides her word.
But the doorbell is broken, and the bookstore shouldn't even be on the list anymore. So I can't help you. Please don't call here again. Thanks.
A single beep indicates that the line has gone dead.
Andro Orlando Hare, SCA.
You ring the doorbell, but no one answers. What an ominous name for a hair salon. Doesn't bode well for anyone's hair.
Artemitep's Boxing for Youth Athletes and Gym.
All you hear is static, but no one answers the call.
24-hour window?
You ring the doorbell, but nothing happens.
Emma's Fashion Atelier.
You wait for a minute or two, but all you get from the call box is silence. No one answers the call.
Febron's Taxi. The rest has been burned
Looks
off.
like someone has melted half the plastic off with a lighter. The doorbell doesn't work anymore.
Slipstream SCA.
You hear static from the intercom speaker. It sounds as if someone has picked up the receiver, but isn't saying anything.
Hello, is anyone there?
Yes, hello. This is Tricentennial Electric.
This is a woman's voice, crackling and fragile through the static.
Have you come to place an order?
She sounds almost antique, as if her voice was being played off an old wax cylinder. A receiver must not be working properly.
Hold on. Tricentennial Electronics? I thought this was calling Slipstream SCA.
My God.
The lieutenant exchanges a look with you.
Sorry?
It's you. My God. I didn't think I would hear your voice.
Who cares that you don't remember her? Just go along with it. No, something's wrong here. Are you sure she's talking to you?
Yeah, it's me. Here I am. Crawling back into your life again.
Michelle, just please.
She stops, and you can hear her breathe heavily. Her breath is distorted by ancient static.
Why did you even call? I don't understand. You've been gone for months. I thought you didn't care.
Of course I care. It's just that I've been going through some tough times.
Ever since I came to work here, it's been different. As if my mind's been wiped clean.
A spot of static overrides her words. When she speaks again, it sounds like she's submerged.
It's so nice. It's so nice to be able to finally meet again.
Forget about what?
She sounds like she's about to cry.
Hello.
She doesn't answer.
You said it was nice. What's so nice about forgetting?
Silence. The only thing you can hear now is static and waves washing ashore on the bay.
What just happened?
Another seagull passes by. It's getting cold standing here, staring at the silent call box.
I don't know what happened either. We should probably stop playing with this thing.
Alright. It's a goodbye then.
You press the number sign on the keypad that terminates the call. 12 name cards on the call box read.
Fortress Accident, SCA.
Silence. No one's home at Fortress Accident.
Revachol Ice City.
Silence. No one answers the doorbell.
Main hall, Building B, whirling in rags.
Nothing happens after you ring the doorbell. They don't want to talk to you.
East Delta Pinball, entrance from Building B.
Silence. No one answers your call.
Empty card?
This button looks new, but someone has removed the name card. Nothing happens when you try to ring it.
Huh. This button looks new. It's probably not connected yet.
He takes a step back, inspecting the other names on the list. Let's try Slipstream SCA again with this volition check.
Whatever she says, it can't hurt you. You're a different person now. Stronger, healthier, and... alright, maybe not healthier, but it's a bonus that you've drunk so hard you can't remember any of your past relationships. Oblivion's the ace in your corner.
Call her again.
There's a light buzz as you press the doorbell, waiting for her to answer the call. It's cold outside, and you can hear the wind blowing into the speaker.
Yes, hello. This is Tricentennial Electric. Have you come to place an order?
Hi, it's me again. I wanted to talk to you.
My gosh.
Here come the bad vibes again. Relax. Distance yourself from it.
What?
It's you. My gosh. I didn't think I would hear your voice again.
Wait, is she...
Didn't you already say that the last time we talked?
Michelle, just please. Why did you even call? I don't understand. You've been gone for months. I thought you didn't care.
Is this some kind of joke?
It doesn't matter what I say. You're just going to continue, right?
The voice from the intercom doesn't answer, but you can hear her breathing. Wind blows into your microphone again, crackling and echoing in the box.
Thank you. Now, tell me, who's responsible for this joke?
Ever since I came to work here, it's been different. As if my mind's been wiped clean. It's so nice. It's so nice to be able to finally forget about you.
And then it hits you.
You're recording.
She tries again not to cry, and still doesn't succeed completely. Her quiet sobs sound old and distant, as if her voice is being played off a wax cylinder. Real or not, your mirror neurons react. It feels painful to be listening to this.
Why does it still feel like it's my fault?
Her sound melts into the static from a long-distance phone call. From time to time, you can hear people talking in the distance, but can't make out any words. This is where you hung up the call the last time, but the recording is still going. A phone rings in the office with an old-fashioned chime, and someone walks by in a pair of heels. The static is like a warm blanket wrapped around the sounds.
Is anyone there?
No one replies, but the static grows stronger like rainfall. Then a female voice speaks out, completely different from the one before. Glorious and total somehow. Crawling inside your head. Her words are too cold to comprehend. She smells of sodium lights and rain streaks on car windows. Eyes like pilot lights watch your shape in dark hallways, guttering.
So...
The strange alien thought pattern ends. The lieutenant cuts in, inspecting the intercom.
It was a recording trapped in the circuitry from some ancient tenant. This sometimes happens. Shall we conclude here? We have other mysteries to solve.
Wait, a recording trapped in the circuitry?
Mm-hmm. I don't have time to explain it to you right now. Maybe sometime later.
He looks at the sea, almost wistful. Something weird just happened to me.
Don't take this the wrong way, but during our short stint working together, something weird is almost always happening to you.
That is true.
This book has a rose, a pistol, and a half-naked dame on its cover. On the cover stands a very muscular man surrounded by flames. The book is titled Man from Shelmdal and the Wildfire. This is a book about pate. This book, you don't really understand what it's about, nor does it seem important. A book about a Boidero culture. It promotes freedom and roaming upstream. A book about the future. The government reads your mind using radio technology.
Hello, sir. Step right in. The store is open.
A young girl with chubby red cheeks waves at you, smiling. Her nose is also red from the cold. I am the law.
I know, sir.
She stomps her feet to feel warmer.
Are you interested in a new and exciting book?
What kind of a store is this anyway?
It's a bookstore, sir. We sell books, postcards, and some board games. It's called Crime, Romance, and Biographies of Famous People.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Hold your horses, little girl.
What is a book?
That is a book. They have stories inside them. It's like someone told you a story in a really long letter.
What's a postcard?
A postcard is a small cardboard picture. You can write a few words on the other side and send it to your friend or beloved.
She is unfazed by your questions. She would consider it impolite to point out any perceived weirdness.
What's a board game?
Board games are like little games on a table, made to pass the time. There are several different ones, but sailors here mostly buy cards.
Interesting, thanks.
My pleasure. Anything else you'd like to know?
Is it okay if I ask you some questions?
Okay, sir. I'll try to answer any questions you have. I hope they're about books.
What is your name?
My name is Annette, sir. My mum, her name is Plaisance. She owns the store. She's inside minding the register or organising the stock.
The girl gazes at the window, then suddenly jolts, her eyes wide as if recalling something.
Feel free to step in and browse our wares.
And you're standing out here in the cold because...
I'm signalling that the store is open. Otherwise people might not know. They'd miss out on the crime, romance and biographies of famous people.
A sudden gush of wind turns the pages of the books on the counters. She covers her face, smiling. But she's cold.
You're cold. Can I help in some way?
Kind of you to offer, sir.
She doesn't know what else to say.
What could you do to help her anyway?
I could help by brutally dismantling the free market.
Thank you, sir. I'm glad to help Mum out with the store.
She doesn't seem to understand what she said. Shouldn't you be at school or something?
I do my studies at home at the moment. I have to help Mum keep this place running.
Isn't going to school more important than this?
Mum says it's necessary to do both because it builds character. Mum says a proper worker is dutiful. That's how you get ahead in life. You succeed.
So what is this crime business?
Crime fiction is about murders or burglaries or things like that, and the work of a policeman or a private detective who's trying to solve a crime and catch the criminals.
Wait, not crime fiction. I need to know what crime is. It's that bad.
Crime is a deviation from the law, punishable by either a civil or criminal sentencing. It's what the law prevents.
Why would anyone want to read about crime?
It's exciting to people, I guess. They get to imagine dangerous things, and it's kind of like a puzzle, where you can guess who the criminal is, or how the good guys are going to catch him.
I'm a policeman myself, by the way. The law, as I said.
You don't look much like a policeman.
She examines you as if to find something policeman-like. Huh, well, what does a cop look like then?
Didn't mean to offend, sir. Sorry, sir. It's just that you don't look like Dick Mullen.
She points to a book cover on which you see a strapping Vespertine officer. He stands grimly over the body of a dead woman. It's not your body that's important in police work anyway, it's your... pointing to your noggin.
Head? Yes.
No, it's your soul. Your blue soul. Not head, child. Heads.
Soul. That Mullen guy looks like a Hempelmann. Who could respect that face? It's not even drawn correctly. He lacks soul.
I'm not sure I understand.
A policeman's gotta have the right stuff. An ingrained sense of the law. No one would follow a weakling like Mullen.
If you say so, sir. He's just a fictional character. He's no match for your soul. Maybe you can show me some real police work, sir. Like in the books.
The cover image of Dick Mullen seems to stare at you with harsh disapproval. Okay, I'm going to deduce something now.
You fail to deduce anything substantial. She waits intently.
Actually, I'm sorry, I can't deduce anything.
It's okay, sir.
You disappointed a small child. Well done, champ.
What is romance?
It's the type of book where there's a rich lady and she has to choose between the good man and the bad man.
She smiles at the thought, perhaps imagining herself in that situation.
Or there could be a story about a poor lady getting a rich man. It's about man and lady business, sir.
What about a poor man getting a rich lady?
It happens, but usually the guy gets rich in the process. Or should actually be rich himself, but has lost his family property unjustly, like during the revolution or something.
I see.
Those are unhappy books, for most of the pages. People sad about what they have lost, but then it all turns out just fine in the end.
What about when both of the men are bad?
These are not very common. You can't have a choice between bad and bad. Nobody wants to read a story like that.
What if it's written really well?
Well, maybe then it's fine. Maybe if the lady then decides not to pick either, because she doesn't need a bad man. Yes, that would be interesting.
What about when everyone is poor?
That's really not a proper romance story. That's more like everyday life.
Sometimes you have to write about real life things.
Not in romance books, sir. These are about nice and pretty people, and everyone is happy in the end.
What about a book where the man and lady business doesn't work out at all?
I haven't read many of those. Maybe you should ask Mum.
Yeah? You think she has one about an excruciatingly painful breakup?
I don't think it's a romance story if the main characters break up, though.
She pauses, trying to figure out the appropriate answer. No, think about it. One where they plunge into a torrid spiral of pain and recrimination, only it's really long and drawn out. Scarred for life. Phantom limb.
No, I don't know.
She looks at you with puzzlement. Doesn't ring a bell? Alright, I'll ask your mom.
Yes, she knows books. Definitely.
What was that? An idea for an unfinished novel stuck somewhere in your forebrain?
That's enough romance for me. I had other questions.
Maybe some about other books?
Who are these famous people?
Oh, kings and queens and generals of old, or artists and writers, or musicians, those kinds of people. There's usually something extraordinary about them.
She scratches her cold reddened cheek, then continues.
I think that's why people read them, to find the secrets of their fame.
Seems like most people who read those books fail to get more famous from reading them.
Reading those doesn't make the readers more famous, does it?
But it does make the famous people more famous.
Fame sounds delicious. Maybe someone will write a book about me one day.
Why would they do that, sir?
Because I'll be a superstar cop, in the papers and everything. That'll show them.
That's so cool. Maybe they'll make you a book cover picture and everything. Standing over a dead body, holding a gun.
You can stop calling me sir, by the way. I am but a working man.
No, sir, I can't. It would be too tiring to refrain from it. It's already tiring enough to remember to say it all the time. It's nice of you to say I could stop, though.
I get you. I, for example, can't stop making this face.
That's a friendly enough face, most of the time.
Alright, bye. See you around, Annette.
Hey. Psst.
Who, me?
Yes, you. Word on the street is you're ready to start building communism again.
How come there's word on the street?
You keep saying things like, down with the bourgeoisie, eat the rich, sodomize the landowners, impale all people who have more than 25 real in their pocket, literally murder all human beings regardless of their political beliefs. That kind of stuff.
I've said some mildly left-wing things, but none of those.
Oh yes, the mask of ambivalence. Don't deny it. You're about to rip it off and reveal the monstrous seven-eyed lamb of global communism that would devour and masticate mankind. Everyone can see that. So tell me, do you have any questions before we fire up the big communism builder? Or do we get right down to it?
Wait, first, what's this communism even about?
Failure. It's about failure.
Failure?
Yes, abject failure. Total, irreversible defeat on all fronts. Absolutely vanquished, beaten, curb stomped and pissed on. Until you came along. You will reverse the fortune of the workers of the world. You alone, against every living thing, against every human alive. 800 trillion real in the hands of an impossibly well-organized ruling class. Towering city blocks of bankmen who have the ears of prime ministers. Million-headed armies of nations and the love of your own mother. You against the atom, the charm and the spin, where the whole world failed. Matter failed to bend to human will. Human will failed to get out of bed and tie its laces. You alone, single-handedly, will rebuild the dreams of the working class. You are the last communist. Now get to work, comrade.
Roll up your sleeves and start building communism.
Oh yeah, get the firing squads and the animal wagons ready.
Wait, what, firing squads? You didn't say anything about those.
Too late to back out now. You can't make an omelette without breaking a few million eggs.
Roll your sleeves up further and breathe in the pristine air. Mazovian socioeconomics. The problem. People think communism was some crazy idea that had its comeuppance 40 years ago, a fever that shook the world never to return again. They were right. Until he woke up today. A spiritual corpse responsive only to the call of Commodore Red, prostitutes, and Krasmazov. For him, communism is still a thing. He will single-handedly raise the commune of O2 from the oceanic trench where it has been resting, covered in the ghosts and seaweed. He is the big communism builder. Come, witness his attempt to rebuild communism in the year 51. And we also have Aces High that we could research. Can't remember if I've read this one or not, so we'll read it real quick. The Insulindian Civil War was not the first war to see the use of aerostatic aircraft on both sides, but it was the longest. For 8 years, folded multi-rotor aircrafts crisscrossed the air above Revachol, Ozon, Face à la Mer, and the Arcade Islands. They made sweeps over sandy beaches and shot each other out of the blue sky, then sank as wrecks to the bottom of the sea. The Aces High was a custom on the revolutionary side, performed by squadron mates after landing. Lieutenant Kitsuragi likes it. Why is that? Okay, let's unlock some thought cabinet slots and have some fun with these. We still have 3 skill points that we can choose to allocate depending on how we need to pass skill checks. Oh, that's interesting. Only the skills that we've sunk points into display color. The rest are in black and white. Neat.
You're alive and well. Don't keep me waiting now. What's in there? In that dark sarcophagus?
The dark sarcophagus.
Yes, yes. How was it?
Tell her how ghastly it was. You know it's what she wants to hear.
It was a charnel house of failed business enterprises, leeching life energy from this bookstore.
I knew it. Oh, such horrors that have been thrust upon us.
She shakes her head.
But what else did you find? Did anything survive? No, of course not. Have you located the entity?
You don't have anything of substance to tell her until you found that entity of hers.
Your daughter's the one standing outside the store, right?
Annette, yes, my daughter. I hope she wasn't slacking off again with her nose in science fiction. Tell me, was she at her post doing her job like a proper girl?
Yes, of course.
Wonderful. Did you talk to her?
Yes.
Great. On a scale of 1 to 10, how compelled were you to buy books after talking with her?
Her opinion of her daughter Depends on how well she lured you into the store.
10. She's certainly very polite and helpful.
My precious, her dedication brings joy to my heart. If you have children, I hope they turn out as great as Mayonette.
I'm here to dismantle the free market and abolish child labor.
You must be kidding. There's nothing like that happening.
Depends. How much do you pay the kid?
Good sir. What does a young child do with money anyway? No, I save it for her, as a fund. She's securing her financial future out there.
Such criminal behavior would not happen in more developed countries.
In some more developed countries, this sort of thing is 2 felonies, child labor and slavery.
Those countries will realize they've raised a lazy and spoiled generation. Are we done with the jokes now?
Yes, we've had quite enough fun here. Right.
The way you're handling her strikes me as wrong.
Mind your own business, sir. In our society, people don't get to tell each other how to raise their children. It's none of your or anyone's business.
Denial is the way she copes with criticism.
Okay, let's change the subject.
The woman before you scans the store, her shoulders rigid and tense. Every now and then, she nudges her glasses.
Old sports magazines tucked away in a dark corner. The book collects the national recipes of Arda. They're all about lake trout. A quaint picture book brochure, very colorful. It's a tome of fascist magic, rather candid. Another boring book, just discarded here.
This bookstore is not strictly about crime, romance, and biographies of famous people. There's also a wide range of paranatural literature. Amidst the various books, you find one written by someone named Matthias W. Dundas. It's about wholeness, unity, balance. These 3 things are very important to the working class mind. The point of the book, and many others on this shelf, is to give people medicinal advice in situations where they don't have access to paid health services.
How does that work?
It serves platitudes, while also telling everyone that traditional medicine, the kind people don't have access to and which costs more than this book, is garbage and would only give you cancer anyway, without even curing your cold or anything. Wholeness, unity, balance, on the other hand, can basically take care of anything. Though it is important to note, when it's up to your mind to heal yourself, then it's because of your mind that you're ill in the first place.
Does the book say anything else?
The book features chapters on topics such as how to find magnesium. It even lists plants you can harvest magnesium from. How to continue drinking if you're an alcoholic who has destroyed his liver. And there's even a chapter on the ancient Seraïs tradition of using duck gallbladder preservatives to treat and prevent sexually transmitted diseases. Pre and post factum apply. Nothing worth buying. This is just mundane garbage. What's even paranatural about this?
Let's find something truly otherworldly.
You sense something ominous emanating from the shelf, but it lacks form and substance. And soon enough, you lose track of it.
Well, I do love me some Inland Empire. So let's go again.
This bookstore is not strictly about the throbbing in your head increases with every passing moment you gaze at this shelf. Suddenly, as if out of nowhere, a small green book becomes apparent. The title of it reads, Medicinal Purposes of the Pale.
What's the pale?
The book contains very little explanation on the matter. This knowledge seems to be taken for granted.
What's this book about?
The book contains descriptions of various pseudoscientific therapies, alternative medicines, and folk remedies involving the pale, also known as le territoire. For example, it recommends vigorously swatting one's naked body with a venik or hand broom. made from the leafy twigs of a young birch tree from the near pale.
Sounds invigorating.
It is, and good for the circulation too.
What else?
It also recommends consuming distilled spirits like vodka or whiskey that have been aged in the pale. Readers are instructed to cover these jars in a shallow hole just inside the pale and leave them there for 30 to 60 days, depending on the potency desired.
And what does this pale-aged liquor do?
Among other benefits, it is alleged to restore a damaged liver to perfect health. That seems improbable.
I should probably get my hands on some of that. What else is there?
For general health and well-being, readers are encouraged to take regular strolls through the pale, though a sidebar cautions readers to limit each stroll to less than an hour. These strolls promise to cleanse the mind of worries and the body of toxins, especially if the perambulator performs this ritual in the nude. Nudity figures prominently in a number of these prescriptions. This is exactly what you need.
Huh. Anything else of note?
There's an entire section devoted to cures for men who are struggling to perform their marital obligations.
Well, I certainly don't need that.
You close the book and return it to its place on the shelf.
Maybe.
Several maps have been attached to a bulletin board hidden inside the alcove. They're held up by small pins. The board has come loose from one corner. The maps look old and faded. Your eye catches a map of Insulinda, a map of Revachol, and a map of Martinez.
Let's look at the map of the Insulinda.
This large map displays archipelagos. You see a constellation of small dots on the light blue emptiness of the Insulindic Ocean. The largest in the northeast is La Caillou. You are here. Another, far away in the southwest, Seminese Islands, Ile de Fantôme.
What else?
Ozon, Laurentide, Fas à la Mer, Archipelagos, North Arcade Islands, all just specks of dust on the vastness of the Insulindic. On the edges of the map, the color fades into a blur of dotted lines, black and white. In the northeast, a dust mite stands on the north coast of Caillou in a bookstore. It's you.
Squinting. Can we see cities on the islands?
You can, on Caillou, Revachol, a single black star, on Ozon, Fondelier, and Vilmandu, on archipelagos, Croyan Moran, Villiers, on Seminine, Olduvai, and on Laurentide, Deora of the Seven Seas. Lost little pearls of light, tiny fires in the dark. 850 million people live on these little dots, an oceanic world of culture and commerce torn apart by history.
And the edges?
The ocean breaks apart into a tangle of cosines and azimuths, all pointing into pale nothingness. Windy is the north azimuth. Grad is the northeast azimuth. Samara is the east azimuth. Seol is the west azimuth. Isolas, they're called. Connections to other worlds, words past the Insulindian, unknown to you. You only know you've never been there. You have little idea what they are. Distant stars, gods, but looking at them makes you feel almost non-existent. Whatever they are, the Isolas are immeasurably large compared to you, and very, very far away. Perhaps they are gods, gods of distance and outer dust.
What about the map of Revachol?
The north coast of a verdant island is shattered by the delta of a river. It is the River Esperance. Countless bridges put the shards back together, connecting city blocks to river islands. La Delta says a great artificial heart in the center, teeming with life forms and construction. To the east, rolling hillsides, Le Jardin, Stella Marie, the suburbs of Saint-Baptiste, swallowed up into the megacity. They sound rich to you. This is Rivershell East.
And west of the river.
Hudon. It's somewhere to live. Not bad. Then there's Jamrock. It's bad. People shouldn't live there, but they do. Then Forberg. It's almost as bad, and much larger. Then Coal City. It's the worst.
And Martinez.
It's so small you can't even see it on the map. No, wait. There it is. North of Jamrock. The strip of coast next to the Greater Rivershell Industrial Harbour. It looks downright despondent. It's almost Coal City, to be honest.
The map of Martinez.
It's not really a map. It's a tourist thing. A picture postcard with buildings on it, drawn from an isometric perspective. A date in the upper right corner says 48. Still, it's detailed. Could be pretty useful for scouting ahead. You see the jagged boxes of an industrial harbour, even the whirling in rags there.
Storekeep, can I buy these maps?
I'm sorry, officer. The map of Martinez is the only one available. The other two are not for sale anymore. And besides, you could scarcely afford them. They're quite valuable, though they might not look it. The map of Martinez is 90 cents, though.
Why is the one of Martinez so cheap?
That old thing. It's an out-of-date map of a tourist location that never was nor came to be. From when some design studio people tried to spruce the place up 4 or 5 years ago. They also renovated the horse statue, set up those coin-operated viewers, and designed the new street lamps.
The place does not look like a successful tourist trap, does it?
What happened then?
They didn't get that far, for some reason. A shame the project never got going. Would be nice if someone fixed Martinez up. All these ruins are bad for business.
I want to buy this map of Martinez.
Always good to be informed of your surroundings.
The worn map features the patchwork grid of the streets of Martinez, with directions to appropriately touristy locations. Year 48 resides on the upper right corner. Your finger moves through the various streets, across Rue de Saint-Ghislain and Rue Saint-Sipar, over Saint-Brun and Martinez North, finally coming to a halt on the spot where you are currently standing, although the map gives no such indication itself.
Let's interact with the note from the fridge.
The note is written with a blue pencil on a piece of lined office paper. The kitchen magnets have left spots on its surface.
Does it say anything interesting?
The lieutenant leans closer to read the crumpled note over your shoulder.
This is tangential at best, but the lieutenant's detective instinct is still active.
Read the note.
Someone has scribbled, S. I can't believe the off-site copy is still here. The illiterate ginger kid keeps stealing stuff from the studio, so I had to hide it somewhere safe. You'll find the filament memory with the off-site copy in the frozen ice cream maker. Please take it home, ASAP. It's important. I'd do it myself if I lived in a civilized place with a freezer. Take care. Sully Soif.
I wonder who wrote that note.
Looks like someone from that radio game company upstairs. I'm a little surprised they just left their property lying here.
Maybe they had to leave in a hurry.
That's a plausible hypothesis.
Remind me again, what's a filament memory?
It belongs inside a radio computer, storing its memory. It's like a tape. You listen to disco tapes, right? It's like one of your disco tapes, only for a computer.
It's like the production schedule you found. Only this one's an off-site copy.
Who's the illiterate ginger kid?
Really? You don't have a single guess?
You mean Kuno?
Oh, I'm sure that child would love to get his hands on the filament memory. Even if he doesn't know what to do with it, he'd probably try to pawn it for speed, based on our encounter.
Do you have an idea where the frozen ice cream maker could be?
I don't know. I assume it's somewhere close to the ice bear fridge.
Didn't you see one right next to the breaker box?
Everyone knows the most interesting thing about fascists was their magic. Let's see if we can find that fridge. The store on the other side is closed for the night. Looks like the remains of the 24-hour window repair shop. Is this Emma's atelier?
This orange machine is dead still. It has a hand-cranked ice cream churner and an electric freezer. The ice around it slowly melting.
Try to crack open the lid.
You slip your fingers under the frozen lid, but the ice is too cold for you to get a good grip. A pry bar would come in handy here. If you want to try again, then you need to have the pry bar in your hand, detective.
Turn the ice cream crank.
Turning the crank feels oddly satisfying, like stirring your childhood dreams. In the distance, you hear water dripping. It's all gone now. You'll never become a poet or an entrepreneur. This orange machine is dead still. It has a hand-cranked ice cream churner and an electric freezer. The ice around it slowly melting.
Minus 20. Pry bar not strong enough. Yeah, forget about that. We'll need a stronger pry bar.
It's the ledger you found in the trash. A cabbage of papers hanging from the board, with the permeables drawer inside. It's barely held together by a clip, then made complete by the faint smell of urinal cleaner.
Can I read the case files now?
Yes, at last. You find a way to piece them together using the alphanumeric code on the margin. HDB41, date of initialization and time of arrival on the scene, followed by the title. For example, HDB4112011700, the next world mural.
Wait, HBD 41? Weren't those officer precinct?
Why, yes, your precinct number is 41.
And HDB.
Every last alphanumeric in the files begins with it. And these are your case files. It's safe to say HDB are your initials.
Ram Darjan Benzakin?
Yeah, no.
How long does it take to read a case?
It takes about half an hour to piece one together, using the system you've devised. Where do you want to start?
The next world mural.
This one is relatively easy to reconstruct. Overnight on 1202, a graffito, nay, a mural, appears on an 8-story tenement overlooking central Jamrock. The building is a sparsely inhabited ghost tower, part of a failed real estate development called Grand Couronne. Cause of failure, rent too high. The mural is enormous. 2 silhouettes, a man and a woman, are kissing. The text cut into their form reads, "True love is possible only in the next world. For new people, it is too late for us. Wreak havoc on the middle class." People call it that thing and that fucking thing. It's visible for miles. In 2 days, the station's complaints desk gets clogged with requests to remove the bummer. You and your partner are assigned to the case. The graffito crew is easy to track down. Only the bell lectures have the literage of industrial paint to cover the surface. One of the graffito artists is rumored to be rich. They take responsibility for the execution, but not the design. The ideologue of the Next World mural, as the crew calls it, remains an unknown.
Wait, do I ever find out who came up with it?
The case files do not show you finding the author of the design. The crew agrees to clean up after themselves. However, your partner, JV, is against the removal, citing public support for conservation. This leads to a debate in Precinct 41, which then spreads to the streets of Jamrock, ending in a rare plebiscite organized by you and the rest of Row 3. The 9,000 people subjected to the mural's message, all of Lakeside, Central Jamrock, and Villalobos, plus half of the eminent domain, participate in the vote. Although the case begins with what appears to be a lot of rambling on the streets as to how juvenile and stupid the mural is, given a choice between 2 options.
Keep the mural. It is right.
A staggering 78% of voters choose to keep it. Turns out the opposition were a loud minority, and that love truly is possible in the next world for new people, and it is too late for us.
All that remains is to wreak havoc on the middle class.
In any case, it appears to have been a rare case of civil activity in the quarter, and agreement as well. What do you want to tackle next?
The unsolvable case.
AKA Leslie and Burke, AKA the public indecency drunk and the property damage drunk, is a cursed case. It has been passed from unsuspecting officer to unsuspecting officer for 10 years. On January 29, the unsolvable case made its way to you. Why you accepted it, it is unclear. Every officer, and indeed most civilians in Jamrock, know it's unsolvable. Leslie will always take his pants off when he's drunk. Burke will always trash everything. It's just what they do. It is their nature. You cannot change the nature of a man, and you can't lock them away because public indecency and small-scale property damage are not punishable by incarceration.
There's a little Planescape Torment reference there. You cannot change the nature of a man.
The only way for Leslie to stop flashing his genitals to bypassers and for Burke to stop dismantling signage and rear-view mirrors would be for them to stop drinking alcohol, which, in their 40s or 50s, it's hard to tell because of their distorted features, is a medical improbability on par with you ceasing to produce the expression.
Couldn't we just keep them off the streets?
You would think that, but you're wrong. Where's the fun in exposing your genitals or breaking stuff in your own home? No, Leslie and Burke are on the corner of Main Street and Perdition, because that's where the action is. Can you keep yourself off the streets? Threatening, fines, dragging them to the station, locking them up in the hellholes they live in, locking them up in the station, hypnotherapy, even trying to get the local gang of Zemyaki to take them out. The Zemyaki gave them ethanol, so Burke and Leslie would expose and rampage even harder. You tried it all, and still the complaints wouldn't stop, as they hadn't stopped for 10 years. It's plain to see from the files that you, Satellite Officer JV, and Special Consultant TH had more important cases to attend to. You uncover cross-reference to several ongoing investigations, each brought to a standstill every time you drive down Main Street, because there they are, on the corner of Perdition. And what is Leslie doing?
Public indecency.
Good, you're learning. If the files are to be trusted, that's all there is to it. That and Burke breaking things, and the fact that they're both drunk. But then again, so are you. The case becomes considerably less comic one day when Burke takes a swing at your ledger. He must have it confused with the property he likes to damage. But the joke's on him. You're drunk out of your mind on potent Pilsner. You slam the hardened plastic board in his face. Then you proceed to beat him unconscious with it. In the process, the ledger sustains damage. The compartment within, reserved for permeable documents, is jammed shut. You stop your assault on the now unconscious Burke to open it, but are unable to do so. The officer began to cry, reports Leslie, who at this point is tending to Burke. He came at us, and at us. I think he was trying to kill Burko. While trying to kill Burko, you slowly come around. The permeables compartment is open. You've smashed it open on poor Burko's kneecaps. The good news is, Burke can't walk anymore. Can't get out of his apartment, an invalid. With Burke to tend to, Leslie cuts back on the indecent exposure. Maybe he flashes his genitals to Burke, who knows, but both drunks are off the street. The complaints stop. The unsolvable case is solved. Which is also why the officer responsible narrowly escapes a disciplinary hearing. The end. Do you want to read another one?
I can revisit this.
Not much has changed in the meanwhile. A bunch of sodden papers still sags from the clipboard.
Let's try to open the hidden compartment in the clipboard now.
Just relax. The two sides of the board are slightly misaligned, like a drawer that's come off the slides. All you need to do is bend the plastic on your knee, slowly. The slides snap back into place. It should be possible to just,
slide the drawer open.
Without resistance or sound, the two panels move against each other. The compartment is now open.
What's inside?
2 ticket stubs and a handmade postcard.
Fucking kill yourself, you asshole.
The words just crossed your mind somehow.
Who were they for?
Who do you think?
Pick up the ticket stubs.
2 octopuses are smiling, reaching their tentacles toward each other in the colored pencil drawings. The tickets permit access to the zoo in Revachol East. The aquarium costs extra. They let you go there too. You should go and kill yourself there.
Pick up the card?
Thin wax paper has been glued to a piece of cardboard. Sounds like leaves rustling when you pick it up. You see violet flowers, floral patterns, patches of glue.
Smell it first.
It smells of chewing gum, apricot flavored. A touch of cinnamon, the end of summer. You think the label says tutti frutti.
Open it.
Familiar handwriting lines the inside of the card. Looped, round letters in a woman's hand. A young woman in her 20s. There is care, effort, and a smile, you think. Although that is not something you can read from someone's handwriting. Harry, it begins. You're already reading. I wanted to write you a letter so you can read it when you wake up. Maybe it will make you happy. Your hand shakes holding the card. Every morning when I step out and you're asleep behind me, it says, I find a little piece of sadness in me. I carry it in my chest, down Voyager Road. Every step I take, it grows. By the time I reach the fuel station, it has filled me entirely. I step onto the light rail and look back. Sparks fall from the bow collector. I know it will be like this until late afternoon, when I get off the 42 and walk back to you. You. Every step I take will get lighter. It almost makes me run. Sometimes I do. I can't believe I met you. I can't believe the happiness I feel with you. You have a vast, vast soul, and I will always, always, always come back to it. Kisses, kisses, kisses. You feel the air sucked out of your lungs and the blood sucked out of your head. Everything around you gets dark. Small white dots appear. Sparks fall like snow from the bow collector. a streetcar distancing. You feel the ledger slip from your hand.
Fall sideways.
There is nothing. Again.
Nothing.
Nothing sad, brother. No treachery, just blackout.
Just lie there passed out.
Well, almost nothing. There is the ground below you, that's still there. And the small light that's on, fluttering, somewhere in the basal ganglia.
Who's that?
That's me. Blue eyes, that's me.
And who was that?
Who was what?
He speaks of the sickening longing, the unwell emotion. Even in the darkness, he's grasping for it. Still trying to hold on to the great sorrows slipping in the water. Slimy.
No, I was cool. I'm cool.
The cool when you're dead, brother.
Here in the paleo-mammalian cortex, we call it the shadow. Because it's always there.
Was that the X something? The
bloated corpse of the past resurfacing?
No, it was beautiful.
Beautiful. Believe me, stupid ape. Its lack of beauty was not the problem.
Where is Voyager Road?
There is no Voyager Road. There are no roads, no houses, no lights in the windows. It's all on pause.
There was something about a bow collector, too?
Yeah, man. What was that about?
Enough. Just lie here motionless.
You think they would let you? Until you disintegrate into biomolecules? No. Someone is breathing on your face now, inspecting your pupils, stupid idiot.
I'm not coming back.
Oh, but you are. They're pouring something on you. Something in you.
It's delicious. Glowing lights on a dashboard emerge out of nothingness.
Where am I?
In the upholstered cabin of Lieutenant Kitsuragi's motor carriage, seated in the driver's basket. The air is thick with leatherworks and heavy fuel oil. Cold water runs down your chin.
Drink. Water.
Drink.
The water is cold, silvery, the stuff of life itself as it pours down your parched throat. The pounding in your head recedes. The darkness parts.
Drink. You haven't drunk water in 2 days. Did you know the human body is not made to survive on alcohol alone? You need a secondary form of hydration.
Drink.
With greedy gulps, you down half a liter of cold water. Some of it spills on the driver's seat. The lieutenant pays no heed to it.
What happened?
I should ask you the same.
You were reading your paperwork. Then you passed out. I carried you to my kinema to take you to a hospital. Then you came to.
How long was I out?
10 minutes, maybe.
I came in contact with the burnt-out ruins of the past, Lieutenant.
That does sometimes happen.
He hands you the remains of your ledger.
He replies with such understanding, it's as if the burnt-out ruins of the past were an occupational hazard. Athlete's foot for cops.
You dropped these. Are you okay to proceed?
Let's solve this case.
Good. We should think about calling it a day, maybe. The nights are still miserably cold this time of year.
I haven't paid the cafeteria manager for the damages yet.
You should take care of that, then.
But I don't have any money.
Let's talk to him anyway. An officer of the RCM shouldn't be sleeping in the streets. We'll figure something out.
Though he finds this situation frustrating, he is doing his best to not make you feel any worse than you already do.
Can I help you?
So about that money I owe.
Yes, have you got it?
I was wondering if we could come to some sort of arrangement for tonight.
Does that arrangement include you paying me what we already agreed you owe me?
I'll pay you back tomorrow. I'm an honest cop.
As a police officer, you must understand that I cannot take you at your word without evidence. Evidence being money. You can't stay here without money.
Hold on, I still have my key, you know.
Good luck trying to use it.
He taps his foot against the metal box installed in the back of the counter.
All the locks have an electronic component. They have to be unlocked down here with a master key before your guest key will open the lock.
I'll find a way in. I'll break the door down.
Oh, wonderful. Try to do that. I'll have to call you an ambulance.
This conversation isn't going anywhere, is it?
Not until you bring me the money.
Okay. I might have something in my motor carriage we can use when you're done here.
I really didn't want to resort to this. The man is thinking.
Oh, Lieutenant, we're done here.
Inside, you see a set of steering levers, a radio microphone, a pull-out tool.
I have something here we could sell. Look in the back, in the suspect transport enclosure.
Transport enclosure? Regular people just call it the cage. The cage at the back of the motor carriage looks rather uncomfortable. 4 shiny hubcaps are stacked against the seat. Their silver edges sparkle in the dark.
I confiscated these 4 a little while back. We can take them to the pawn shop down by the Martinez Canal.
What are those things?
There are spinner hubcaps, frivolous things you put on your wheels. When the wheels come to a stop, the caps keep on spinning. There's no real use for them, it's just for vanity.
What do you mean you confiscated them?
A couple of weeks ago, I stopped a young man for going slower than the speed of traffic. Turns out he was some coalition official's son and high.
I get it. I would have confiscated them too. They're mesmerizing.
That they are. I was going to take them into evidence, but they weren't necessary for conviction. He never asked for them back.
Did you want to put these spinners on your machine?
No, that would be silly. I don't know why I kept them. It doesn't matter. I couldn't put them on this MC anyway. A cop with spinners. That would be outrageous.
Yes, outrageously cool.
He flashes a smile, barely visible in the dark.
I'm sorry you have to sell them because of me.
As I said, they're useless anyway. I should have remembered I have these earlier.
But thank you.
You said something about a pawn shop.
Yes, there's one 100 meters south of here. I think it's called Roy's Nest or something. If I'm not mistaken, it should be open late.
Thanks. I appreciate your help.
The lieutenant nods as you take the spinners.
The magnificent hubcap spinners that Lieutenant Kitsuragi has donated to you so that you can pay for your room at the Whirling. They are slate blue and shimmer haughtily in the light. ancient fountain. It doesn't pump water anymore. There's a tree in it. A sewer grate, a gateway to the river of filth. Roy's Pawn Shop. Fast cash for faster time. Ooh, another article of clothing. Fingerless gloves. I want to try to wrap up here, so I'm not going to have a lengthy conversation with Roy. I think I'll just sell these, pay for the room, do the end of night debriefing with Kim, and then call it there.
It's not often that I see officers from the RCM in my pawn shop.
The man at the counter turns to you slowly.
What can I do for you?
His courtesy is not insincere, but he prefers being alone with his projector, just watching the movement of light across the walls of the shop.
Sorry, I feel like I'm interrupting you.
Oh no, not at all. I guess I haven't had many customers lately. RCM or otherwise.
Who are your customers usually?
All kinds of people come through here. Locals, travelers, people looking for a deal, people looking for a keepsake, people who are terminally bored. As you can see, I have a wide selection of goods for everyone to choose from.
Quite the collection. I may have something to add to it.
It keeps me entertained.
His attention is drawn once more to the play of light and shadow on the walls behind you. There's something I'd like to sell.
Yes, we'd like to sell these hubcaps.
The lieutenant steps in and hands him the spinners.
Roy takes the hubcaps from the lieutenant and inspects them. The spinners appear iridescent in the dancing light of his pawn shop.
Yes, these are very, very good. Did you defraud some foreign prince for them? Jump-a-mesque banger? No matter. I'll give you 200 real.
No one was defrauded or jumped, I assure you.
Of course, I meant no offense. 200 real for you, officer. Delightful doing business with you. Do come again.
Thank you. Here's the 60 real you need for your bill. Do not waste it.
The rest goes into his pocket.
The rest is for him, to compensate for the pain of being separated from his radiant spinners. The windfall is a small consolation.
Anything else you're thinking of selling?
I don't have anything else to sell at the moment.
Another time, perhaps.
I have other business to take care of now.
Aces high. For the rest of the world, the Aces High is just a cool Revachol thing, politically neutral. In Revachol, it still holds revolutionary connotations. Also, have you looked at Lieutenant Kitsuragi's clothes? He wears a bomber jacket, just like the ones worn by aerostatic brigades, and those cargo pants could store tools for hot-fixing your aerostatic. Maybe you should ask him about this.
+1 empathy towards Kim Kitsuragi, and +1 esprit de corps.
Yes? What about me?
Kim, you're wearing a Revolutionary Air Brigade jacket, aren't you?
What? These? It's just seasonal clothing.
And those look like airmen pants. Good for storing tools in.
Where is this going?
You see, Kim, I have this place in my head where I develop new ideas and connections.
Interesting. I think it's called the brain.
It's no mere brain.
No, normal people don't have this. It's like a mind laboratory. A spiritual R&D division. No, a palette. No, better yet, a painter's atelier of concepts.
Okay. art cop.
Okay, indeed. In this Atelier, I've realized that you harbor some kind of sentiment toward the Revolutionary Air Brigades.
I do not harbor a sentiment for revolutionary air brigades in particular.
Just air brigades, then.
Okay, I wanted to become an aerostatic pilot. Then I turned 10 and realized we no longer have an air force.
Are you sure the revolutionary has got nothing to do with this?
Absolutely nothing.
Thank you. My mind is satisfied.
Good.
That's all
Good.
for now.
Let's change the subject.
Can I help you? Yes, have you got it?
I have your money.
Well?
Here's 60 real.
Great, thank you, officer. That's all I wanted. Payment for services rendered. If you continue to stay here, I just ask that you please pay your nightly bill in advance starting tomorrow. The electronic lock to your room has been disabled till 9 p.m. tomorrow. Please pay for each night in advance starting tomorrow. 20 real per night.
I'll take a room here too.
Of course. Always happy to have officers from the RCM as guests. Anything else I can do for you?
Have I seen anything that I need to talk about?
What thing?
I saw a sign that said the mess hall is reserved for the Union.
Yes, not the whole damn Union, thank God. Just the nastiest and loudest faction.
He tosses his head in disdain.
They come here in the evenings. Dumb, unruly types. Think they're big shit. But they're good customers. They place big orders and always pay on time.
He hates the Union, but grudgingly recognizes its power over him. So he's directing his frustration at you instead. Retaliate.
It's a shame you've got to suck up to the Union to stay afloat.
I don't. I'm simply providing a service, or really facilitating the offering of services to paying customers, and it doesn't matter. I don't have to explain myself to you.
We should find out who this Lord faction is, occupying the booth. Loudness means talkative, and we need info.
The lieutenant gives you a meaningful nod. How do we find them?
We don't. We have to wait. They'll show up sooner or later. Men get hungry, even men on strike.
You glance at the clock on the wall behind the manager. Huh.
It says after 1600. The sign said reserved starting 1600. Why isn't anyone in the mess hall?
Good question.
They're probably getting drunk or protesting something somewhere, or laying low after the, lynching.
Why's that?
They probably fucking killed that guy or something, and that's why.
I have a feeling we'll make their acquaintance sooner or later.
What?
By the way, you should come back to this thing-based questionnaire if you see anything interesting in the whirling later. This is the door to the room you redecorated.
Good night, Lieutenant.
Just a moment. You had some questions earlier, I believe. And besides, we should discuss our progress on the investigation. Let's go out to the balcony.
All right, let's go.
The air outside is brisk. The lieutenant is silent for a moment. He listens to the traffic hum. Then,
where shall we begin? We should talk about the investigation, first and foremost. But I also remember you wanting to discuss the RCM.
I didn't know you smoked, Kim.
I have a cigarette every night when I go over my notes. It's something of a ritual.
Oh man, he looks so devastatingly cool with that cigarette.
How did you get so cool, Kim?
You mean this? This isn't cool. It's an unnecessary trial of will, and unhealthy.
I think I might want to pick up smoking. Do you have any more cigarettes?
I apologize, but I only brought one with me. I have exactly one cigarette every night while going over my notes.
Right then, to the debrief.
Yes, it's been a long and eventful day.
How do you think today went?
We performed a thorough initial inspection of the victim's body, so that's good. One could say it's the main thing to do in a murder. Then you shot the body down, which was quite the shot.
I was inspired by your confidence in me, Kim.
I admit I wasn't sure whether I should give you the gun, but I'm glad I did. Your shot enabled us to perform a field autopsy on the victim. We found some things we can really work with. I still feel like we missed something, but at least the corpse has been refrigerated. And we performed a thorough search of the premises of the crime scene. That's great.
He's right. You could smell it. That something is missing, even under the overpowering odor of the corpse.
Now, as for interviews, my list of people to talk to here in Martinez, I mean.
I love doing interviews, and people love me. They love bathing in my glory.
I hope your confidence will translate into results, officer. We weren't able to find the union leader, Everard Clare, much less interview him, so that's on the to-do list for tomorrow. We didn't talk to the Wild Pines rep. We really must do that tomorrow. Above all, though, today was exhausting. What's with all the running? You run a lot. Is that a standard Precinct 41 practice?
Yep, that's just how we roll in Precinct 41.
It's impressive, especially for a man your age. And in those hills.
He nods thoughtfully, tapping his finger on his cigarette.
Nice shoes, by the way. I like the green. Goes with the orange.
He looks at your snakeskin shoes and smiles suddenly. So what are our powers exactly, the RCM?
They're quite limited, actually. The power officers of the Revachol Citizens Militia exercise most frequently is imposing fines of up to 1,000 real for offenses, in accordance with an interdepartmental schedule.
1,000? Why not more?
The RCM's primary role is to ensure safety. We are not really supposed to play any part in the economic structure of Revachol.
Wouldn't that be an easy power to abuse?
Yes, although indirectly, as citizens can always request records from their local station. Officers of the RCM have been known to take bribes of less than the prescribed fine amount. It undermines trust in the RCM.
Okay, what else?
We can arrest people, of course, but rather than bringing someone in directly, it's preferable to serve a station cold slip. It prevents confusion and overcrowding.
Wait, how can you be sure the arrestee will show up?
You can't. Those who don't show up become fugitives, though, and have fewer legal rights when they are eventually caught. It's about power projection. Thus far, they seem to mostly show up.
When power calls you, you come. But power itself is a fragile trick of perception.
I see. And if someone resists?
As you may have gathered from the fact that we are expected to carry a record of our kills, like the one in your watermarks, we are permitted to use whatever force is necessary, and strongly admonished not to abuse that power.
Wait, so if I kill someone while on duty?
You have to supply compelling evidence for why it was necessary to use lethal force. In these cases, your partner is usually your witness. Not a good position to be in, by the way. Internal Affairs handles these cases thoroughly, by cross-examining you for inconsistencies. It is hard to cover for anyone, which is for the best.
What happens to the people we convict?
We don't convict. We arrest and send them to coalition government courts in Couronne and La Delta. The prosecution works off our testimonies and records, which is why it's paramount to keep them.
He taps on his coat pocket, where he keeps his notes. And who makes all these rules?
The coalition government, and the moral intern more broadly. The RCM was formed by the coalition government to restore order in the international zone after the revolution. So we did. Now we attempt to maintain that order. No more, no less.
His gaze is absently fixed on a window below that just went dark.
Or perhaps it is better to say we were allowed to form. It's a point of contention whether the citizens of Revachol or the coalition government founded the RCM.
Let's say it was the citizens of Revachol.
Be sentimental if you like. Either way, the Moralintern leases us the right to keep the peace in this city, and they will take it away if we misuse it.
Or if they think you do.
The Moral Intern, what is that?
The Moralist International are the world's largest political organization. You know who they are. They have been running this place after the revolution failed.
If I didn't know, how would you describe them?
They're a union of center-left and center-right parties across the Real Belt. Our coalition government is just one of its many projects. They also run the ICP, EPIS, most intergovernmental organizations in the world.
What do they believe in?
What do they believe in? They are Dolorians. They believe they continue the humanist project set forth by Her Innocence Dolores Day 4 centuries ago. Others say they are just technocrats.
Those others say they continue the humanist project set forth by Dolores Day.
What is their symbol?
Interesting question. It's a blue forget-me-not. Their motto is love, compassion, self-discipline. I think you can gauge what they want you to think of them from that.
Something kind and usual. Something almost self-explanatory. Something ominous.
Who was Dolores Day?
A historic figure? The author of the modern age? You will have to look elsewhere for opinions. The subject of humanism is too abstract for me.
And what do you think of them?
The moral intern are a fact. I try not to have opinions on facts until they change. And it doesn't look like that's about to happen.
It is more than that. There's some kind of affection in him.
You like the moral intern?
Yes, I did, when I was younger. In my 20s, I considered myself a moralist. A blue forget-me-not, a piece of the sky. They're not all that bad.
That's another leitmotif associated with moralism.
But the years have changed that. I don't know what I believe in now. No, I believe in the RCM. That's enough for me.
I have an opinion on the moral intern.
Do you?
They've done an awful job here. Have you seen this place? This isn't humanism.
We are in what is called the twilight of international law. The laws we claim to enforce come from the MI. Without them, we are simply vigilantes.
Maybe we should make our own law.
Spoken like a revolutionary, not a cop. But hypothetical aside, in Martinez we already are vigilantes. At least the Union thinks so. I expect our job here to prove quite challenging.
He looks at the roundabout. Say nothing, just look into the night.
The dying lights of the city shimmer below. Slowly, like luminous clouds, they pass on his lenses. The lieutenant looks at his slim cigarette, contemplating the next drag. This soldier is the highlight of the day for me, he thinks. This little stick right here. An aerostatic passes overhead, the whiskers of its floodlights on the ground below. Kitsuragi's glasses light up as he looks to the sky. 2 glowing circles.
They really don't like us here. And the mouth on that kid, Kuno. It's different in land, in Jamrock and the GRIH.
Why are they like this?
It's our fault for leaving this place to the dogs, to the Union, to the company, not daring to come here more often. It's like I told you, this place is an orphan, fallen between the cracks.
And in Jamrock and the GRIH?
We run this city. West of the river is RCM land.
He looks at the dark silhouette of the equestrian monument cutting into the night sky.
It's incredibly hard. Human beings are... But we are in control, and it's worth it. The organization works. Our systems work. If they didn't, the city would disintegrate.
Night. Captain Ptolemy Price steps into the yard. A piebald horse waits by the motor carriage, chewing oats out of an oat bag. Seagulls fly overhead. The sky is black. Captain Price wears a black suit and a standard patrol coat as he mounts the horse to head home. Rows of houses on either side, hunching over the sidewalks, and Precinct 41 with its dome roof growing distant. Around him, the streets are silent. A kid on the corner waves at the captain as he takes the turn on Petition and Main. The horse neighs. The captain nods back. Thanks, kid, he thinks. He's grateful.
I hope our investigation will help improve the situation here, at least do some good.
Me too. But I wouldn't count on any drastic changes in our lifetimes.
Thank you for this.
Yeah, it's getting very cold now. Let's go.
He puts out the stub of his cigarette and looks to the door.
Mazovian Socioeconomics.
Thought complete.
0.000% of communism has been built. Evil, child-murdering billionaires still rule the world with a shit-eating grin. All he has managed to do is make himself sad. He is starting to suspect Krasmezov fucked him over, personally, with his socio-economic theory. It has, however, made him into a very smart boy with something like a university degree in truth. Instead of building communism, he now builds a precise model of this grotesque, duplicitous world.
Bonuses. Left-wing dialogue options give you +4 experience, -1 to visual calculus, reaction everywhere, and -1 authority, downtrodden Inva communist. Those are some somewhat rough drawbacks there. Alright, this was a pretty long session. I think this is where I will call it for tonight.